Everybody, happy Sunday. No apparent reason to play that song, just other than I like Zach Wild and Ozzy. Anyhow, happy Sunday, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? It's pretty hot, eh? Pretty hot if you're living in Southern Ontario these days. It's warm. It's warm. Hey, don't complain. We complained a lot about snow and ice. Don't complain about hot weather, okay? It's hot though. It's pretty hot. Anyways, cheers. Drink lots of water, and keep yourself hydrated. Okay, let's do that. Um. Anyways, happy summer to everybody. I think this is my first show of the summer, because summer was just this week. Happy summer. Canada Day. Next weekend. Yes. Bridge on Fire is playing Canada Day in Gage Park in Hamilton. All you Hamilton people, just to let you know. And yes, Andy, I know I'm playing a Les Paul. Yes, isn't this a nice Les Paul? It's a nice Les Paul. I resurrected this out of the collection here for a gig that's possibly coming up. Possibly. It kind of hit a snag this week, but it's possibly coming up. Anyhow, if you follow me on Facebook, and this possibly hit my Instagram, I shared a post, because I didn't come up with this one. Shared a post about just comparing a concert by a man named George Strait, who's a country artist who, you know, I don't know. I'll be the first to say I don't know a lot about country music. I'll never say I'm an expert or comment on country music. But basically, this post said there's 100,000 people in a stadium to see George Strait, and it was just a guy, an old guy up there, singing his songs in front of a mic. There was no backing tracks. There was no dancers around. It was just a guy with a backup band playing all his old songs, and people loved it, and it was real, and there was no auto-tune or anything like that. And I agree 100% with that post. But then I thought to myself, are they taking a shot at the standard of how of the world today? And are they taking a shot at maybe a certain artist that is playing stadiums whose initials are Taylor Swift? Could be. But one thing about Taylor Swift, and I think there's a real big divide about Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift is not a flash in the pan. Taylor Swift is a real artist. Taylor Swift is filling stadiums. She's the biggest artist in the world right now. She has dancers. She may or may not have backing tracks. If you're doing that much of dancing and singing around, I think you should be using backing tracks to have that show. I think more singers that can't sing out there in the older generation, not naming any names if you can read this, maybe they should be using some vocal enhancement, especially these guys who are really coming under fire for having backing tracks on their whole show, meaning the guitars and bass and drums are all not real. Whether they're not real or not, do you really care? If Vince Neil had a backing track and could lip sync properly, I would much rather see that Motley Crue show with him lip syncing. Just saying, okay? Just saying. And my wife Angela agrees with me too, because we've gone to see Motley Crue, mostly to see Def Leppard. On the other hand, Def Leppard, completely flawless show. Maybe there's some vocal enhancement there, but guess what? It sounds like him. It sounds like them. I feel entertained. It is good. The songs are good. It all comes down to the music. Really, it does. It all comes down to the music and whether or not this band is good, and whether or not you like the music. Would I go to a George Strait concert? No, because I'm not a fan of his. Would I go to a Drake concert? No. That doesn't mean they suck. That means that I just don't like that. Would I go to see, Morgan Wallen or a kind of a huge country show? No, I wouldn't. But because I just don't listen to that. I just don't listen to that music. I'd like to see the show, but concert tickets are expensive, and we can't do that. Would you go see a show in a stadium, just because there's two or three big huge bands like the Stadium Tour with Motley Crue, Def Leppard. Def Leppard's going out this year. Crue, Journey, and Heart. I had tickets to the show. We sold them, made some money on them. It's another thing. We were selling tickets and making money out of necessity because we're having some lean times right now. So we're selling off some tickets. But are you going to go see these shows? It's a lot to sit through a double headliner in a stadium level. Yeah, you're getting a huge more bang for your buck. So are the bands because they're filling hockey rink holds maybe 15 to 20, right? You're lucky to get 20 for a hockey rink show. Stadium show, you might get 40,000, right? You might get 50,000, depending on where you are in the United States or anywhere. Amazing to do that. That would be incredible to do that. And this is where the money is right now. And this is why Taylor Swift is the biggest artist in the world playing stadiums. But you know what it all comes down to, and I'm going back to my original comment with the George Strait show, which was kind of cutting up the whole reality. Who cares as long as you're being entertained and you're a fan of that artist? Okay, that's all I gotta say. And if you're an up-and-coming artist, Jacob, who's doing a lot of shows in Toronto now, doing a lot of roadieing and tech work with some shows in Toronto. Went to a showcase. I think it was part of North by Northeast, or it was Canadian Music Week. He was a show, and a band got up because they didn't have the proper snake to run their in-ears and their backing tracks, held up an entire lineup shows, better part of an hour, just to gear up. First of all, just play your instruments and get through it. Don't hold up the entire night because you can't get in-ear monitors going. And if you have to use all this gear, then bring your own gear. Don't expect to just hook it into a system and go. It probably won't work. There, I hope you guys comment on this one because I think it's a big thing. I think it all comes down to entertainment. So if you're gonna run a backing track for your show and your crowd's still entertained, so be it. You better be good at it though. You better have your click tracks going if you're going to run videos and backing tracks and all that kind of stuff, because it can go terribly wrong. Anyways, comment on that. I'd love to hear from you guys, especially the guys that comment all the time. You know who you are. If you just want to comment, go ahead and comment. Just say hi. Hi. I'd like to see you out there. If you like this guitar, the reason why I brought it out is because Def Leppard's Vivian Campbell plays mostly Gibson Les Pauls these days. I think he plays them exclusively on the Def Leppard tour. He's got a gold top that's got P90s in it. I think they're P100s, and I think they're custom wound P100s. This is probably one of the best guitars I've ever heard live in all the concerts that I've seen. It just stood out. He hit a chord and it was just like, oh my god. That's you've made it. You've gotten through the din of trying to get a great guitar sound out through a PA. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you ever, this is what's Eddie Van Halen's quest in the world, and I think he achieved it. Not a lot of you would agree with me. Like some people talk about the Eventide years. Do you guys know what I'm talking about with the Eventide years with Eddie? I have an Eventide on my board, and something that sounds amazing. It's just all the way you use it. He got through that whole world of getting the guitar through the PA and sounding phenomenal. Very few of these guys have achieved this. I saw Crewfest last year, and I only heard one guitarist, and it was Steve from Our Lady Peace that actually cut through the system. Everybody else, I don't know. And a lot of it's not necessarily the sound man's fault, but if you have any input, with your sound man and getting your sound out of the system, do it. Eddie's one. I was really disappointed in Neil Sean when I saw him 2 years ago. Maybe it was a year ago. Can't remember now. Just wasn't cut through the PA. Lukather opened for him and was just screaming beautiful. Mike Campbell, phenomenal sound in the theater, in the arena sound. So that's something we strive for to get come through the PA. And Eddie, we just worked his life dream doing that. Anyways, that's why I'm playing the P90 guitar today, which looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Anyhow, I'm rambling on. Am I boring you guys that aren't guitar players? It's okay. Come out and see us play. Come out and see bands play. Go out and see your friends play this summer. We're all out there playing. There's a problem out there because a lot of people aren't coming to bars, and we need to do that. Get out and play and go see. At least support your friends. You support your friends that are out there doing it. And that's all I have to say. Come out and see Bridge on Fire at Canada Day at Gage Park. We're playing on Canada Day, Monday, July 1st, and our set is on stage 4, and we are playing at 4:20 p.m. I get there for 4. It's going to be good. Happy summer. We'll see you on Canada Day. What do you want me to talk about on our Canada Day show? It'll be just before. I'll be promoting that gig. Anyhow, Les Pauls do kind of look cool, don't they? Anyways, see ya.